Okay, I realise it's been ages since I've posted any kind of theory video up, so here's one for you now. Okay, so for this one I expect you to be comfortable with the idea of octaves and notes being moved around positions, and I expect you to know that properly inside out. If I move a note up an octave, you should be able to spot it. On the other hand, lesson 3 was stuff about learning all the notes all over the fretboard, so I expect you to be working on that at this point, but I don't expect you to have it all absolutely perfect. But you should be able to figure things out if you give yourself 5 minutes. Okay, so on to the really interesting stuff now. We're going to get into the kind of concepts that become more and more powerful in composition, and basically the first thing we're going to look at is a simple chord. So let's play one, E major. It's one of the first chords anyone learns on guitar. Now, this is where things get interesting. Basically, this chord is made up of 3 notes. But I counted 6! Well, this is where the idea of octaves come. Now, if you look at that chord and you take the time to analyse it, you'll see that it's only made up of 3 notes. So what I really want you to do is pause the video now, take a good long look at this E major chord and see if you can figure out which 3 notes they are. Okay, the answer you should have got for what are the notes in an E major chord is E, G sharp and B. At this kind of stage, it's also fine if instead of G sharp you had said A flat, because they are the same tone even though they have different note names. Okay, so next thing to look at is an A major chord. Okay, same drill again. Take the A major chord, analyse what notes are in it, and then come back to me. Okay, so the answer you should have got for that was A, C sharp, and E. Okay, so that's enough hard work for you for now. So if we take the notes E, G sharp, and B, that's the notes of an E major chord, and just put them on a low E string, so we've got 0, 4, 7. Okay, next thing to do is if we take the notes of the second chord we picked, the A major chord, they're A, C sharp and E. You should notice that they're exactly the same pattern, just starting on a different place. So we go up 4 frets from the open string, and then up another 3 frets. So we have a note that's 4 semitones from the root, and a note that's 7 semitones from the root. And that applies in any major chord. And now the cool thing is that this is basically when we play, we're playing an arpeggio. So that's an E major arpeggio, and you can apply this instantly. You can go away right now from this lesson, and if you see an E major chord, you can play this over it. It'll sound right, it'll fit in with it, because you're just basically playing the chord again in a different way. You know, the chord can't clash with the same notes that are already in the chord, if you know what I mean. So a lot of soloing is basically based around following the chords. Okay, it seems that we haven't covered that much in this lesson, but it's really, really important that you go now and you start looking at the way these chords are formed and where these notes appear in them, and you should find that sorting this out when we come to the later stuff where we start changing chords and we start playing, you know, those crazy, oh, it's a 9 chord with a sharp 11, you know, this will all make that simpler when we come to it, and it's really, really important that you learn it now. So I think you should go right now and check all those open chords. You should look at, first of all the majors, E major, A major, D major, G major, C major. And you should take those and you should analyse and see that in each one you've got the same pattern of notes that make up each chord. And then if you feel like going on a bit, check out the minor chords. Take an A minor chord and see how the pattern of notes in an A minor chord are different to part notes to make up an A major chord. And then you'll be ahead of the curve when we go into the next lesson.